Hey guys, build report for the Pink Panther Fuzz. It is a Rullywow Voodoo return fuzz, another one of Rullywow's. I'm chipping away at the big lot of PCBs he sent in to me, which is great. I've had a lot of fun building his pedals. This one's based on the Roger Mayer Axis Fuzz, and actually I might just read his description again. He tends to summarize his pedals a lot better than I can, so it's probably a good idea to just read the initial description of what the actual pedal is. So from his build doc, it says the Voodoo Return Fuzz is inspired by the Roger Mayer Axis Fuzz. The concept was reportedly created in 1967 to 1968. So Jimmy, who's Jimmy? What's he talking about? Jimmy. Some guy called Jimmy could have different colorations of fuzz for different sounds. This circuit was used on some popular albums like Band of Gypsies as well as others. Just like Jimmy, you can use your volume control to roll off some of the dirt while retaining your that great fuzz character. That's a general character for most fuzzes that you hear. They retain their character when you roll off on the input. I find that to be true with quite a few overdrives as well. Just your standard non-inverting op-amp overdrives, tube screamers, love pedals and things like that, and even the Distortion Plus reacts pretty well to the volume control being rolled off. Anyway, different story. This pedal responds very well to volume changes on your guitar with just a fuzz and level control. This pedal is also very simple to run. Suggested to put this in a 1590B enclosure for ease of building. I'm sure it's also possible to cram into a 1590A. It could be a little difficult. Let me show you. It's kind of long. You'd have to flip it round the other way and then it would get pretty tight, I think. I would just stick with a 1590B. You've got tons of room for a battery down the bottom there as well. I don't usually use batteries, but because it's just so spacious, I just thought, stuff it, I'll put the battery control in there as well. Okay, so with the Rullywow Voodoo Fuzz, you can build a 60s style fuzz easily and quickly. It's not that hard, so let's get cracking. And that's actually a good point too, because let me get back in view. I was going to suggest that if you're a new builder, this is a good candidate for silicon fuzz. If you're into silicon fuzz or fuzzes in general, and you're looking for a first build, it's a good candidate for a first build. It's not overly complicated. There's not a hell of a lot going on board, and you end up with a great silicon fuzz at the other end of it. Let's take another closer look at some of the aesthetics. The obvious one being the actual paint job. Now, I've said many times, and I'll say it again, I'm no painter, and this is just doodling, but look at the effect of a bit of time and patience with an epoxy overlay. It looks fantastic. I posted this on my Facebook page, and somebody said, I said it looks like the front of a women's shampoo bottle, and somebody said, no, I love it, I reckon it looks like something from a Pink Panther movie, and bang, we have a name, the Pink Panther Fuzz. He summed it up. It does look a bit like something from the start of a Pink Panther movie, and it certainly goes with the time frame of, you know, Fuzz has been sort of around the late 60s, early 70s. I think Pink Panther was mainly in the 70s, but anyway, you get the idea. So that is just hand painted. Well, that's the colours inside are hand painted, but the actual outline in gold is with a gold Posca pen. This exact gold Posca pen, to be precise. It's easy to draw lines with a pen, so most of the detail part of painting, detail, it's not exactly overly detailed, but anything that requires some sort of accuracy I try and use a pen for, makes the job a little easier. And it's certainly easy on the eye, I think. It's one of my better paint jobs, I think. And it was just, as I said before, doodling, silver border around the outside, silver background, and then just red with different shade, adding white and black, pretty much. So it's the same red color. I've just added white and black, and then it sort of goes a bit purple as it gets darker as well. Looks really good. Don't need any color theory to come up with something along those lines. It's very simple. Those are my 14mm silver knobs, which go really well with the theme, I think. White enclosure, didn't epoxy the side, which I'm doing a lot. Also doing a lot, mistakenly putting the input next to the voltage input next to the input of the guitar, which you shouldn't do, because if there's any noise on the input, if you have a noisy input, it'll appear on the output because it's going through the circuit, being amplified. Not usually a good idea. Little stuff up there, but I can't detect any additional noise, not with this particular pedal, but you need to be careful. It's best just to put it on the near the output. It's safer. So on the inside, pretty simple setup. As I mentioned before, not a lot of components. If you want to build a silicon fuzz, this is a great candidate. The usual, there's a lot of room, again, like I mentioned, so I added a battery even though I don't use them very often. And I went with the standard transistors, being a 2N3904 and a 2N3906. There's no power inversion with this one as well, which makes it nice and easy. Not even a charge pump. You don't even have to worry about putting a charge pump in. I think it works maybe a little bit like a Cyclade pair, where it flips the power. Where it flips the polarity, except the PMP's on the front, so works a little differently that way. But a little above my head. I haven't actually looked at the schematic for too long to actually try and work out some rough way of how it actually works. But anyway, so having a PMP on the front, you could replace that with a germanium if you felt the need to. Might make things sound a bit smoother or whatever, and just be interesting. It'd just be an interesting mod anyway. Being a PMP, they're readily available, so you could stick anything in there. Probably wouldn't matter too much about leakage. If it did, you could find a PMP that doesn't have a lot of leakage. A 2N3906 isn't a hugely high gain transistor. I can't remember offhand, but you're probably looking 2N3904 is low gain, around 200 to 250. I think 2N3906 might be a bit higher than that. So even if you went for like 100 HFE with a germanium, you'd probably be close enough. You might lose a bit of gain, but gain a bit of character. That is really all there is to tell. It's very simple. There's not any tricks I need to tell you, or any things that you need to be aware of. It's just paint by numbers sort of thing. You just whack your components in, and she works, so to speak. Could be a good one to breadboard as well, if you felt like experimenting with a fuzz that's not a standard fuzz face. It's a little different, and it sounds a little different, and it's definitely going to be one that goes in that cupboard, which is just like an avalanche of pedals waiting to happen. I just keep throwing them on the pile, obsessively collecting my own do-it-yourself work, but this one definitely makes the cut. I do actually have a few that I'm going to be selling. I'm not telling you that because I'm trying to promote my own sales. I'm just telling you that to say that I've come to the conclusion that I have enough pedals going on, and any pedal that I've got that. Any pedal that I build that's kind of like what I've already got, I'm gonna let go of, because a few dollars here and there is probably gonna go further than a cupboard full of pedals that I don't get a lot of time to actually play anymore. So anyway, that is it. Hope you liked it. Very simple pedal, gonna sound awesome. Look at the front of that, would you? I love it. It's got tons of character. That's why I like hand painting, and that's why I keep hand painting, and I probably will keep hand painting, even though it takes 3 times as long. I enjoy the results 3 times as much. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the sound demo. Cheers.